Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Catholic pilgrims, it's day 21 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. Today we are going to be reading from Notebook 1, Numbers 58 through 61. And today we've got a very interesting reading, especially the first part, because it seems that Sister Faustina is being visited by a ghost, possibly. So we are going to talk about this because I think it's very interesting, and I think it's a topic that everybody has an opinion on and thoughts on. And I am actually going to appeal to Jimmy Akin, Senior Apologist at Catholic Answers. I've listened to a couple of his talks on ghosts and what kind of is the church's stance on those. And so we're going to talk. I'm going to bring him into the conversation. No, actually, he's not going to be on here, but I'm going to bring him into the conversation when we talk about this, because I think it's a really interesting topic. And when we read it, we're going to be like, what is going on here? So I want to dive right into this. It's a little bit longer, but we're going to get started right now. One night, a sister who had died 2 months previously came to me. She was a sister of the first choir. I saw her in a terrible condition, all in flames with her face painfully distorted. This lasted only a short time, and then she disappeared. A shudder went through my soul because I did not know whether she was suffering in purgatory or in hell. Nevertheless, I redoubled my prayers for her. The next night she came again, but I saw her in an even more horrible state, in the midst of flames which were even more intense, and despair was written all over her face. I was astonished to see her in a worse condition after the prayers I had offered for her, and I asked, "Haven't my prayers helped you?" She answered that my prayers had not helped her and that nothing would help her. I said to her, "And the prayers which the whole community has offered for you, have they not been any help to you?" She said no, that these prayers had helped some other souls. I replied, "If my prayers are not helping you, sister, please stop coming to me." She disappeared at once. Despite this, I kept on praying. After some time, she came back again to me during the night, but already her appearance had changed. There were no longer any flames as there had been before, and her face was radiant, her eyes beaming with joy. She told me that I had a true love for my neighbor and that many other souls had profited from my prayers. She urged me not to cease praying for the souls in purgatory, and she added that she herself would not remain there much longer. How astounding are the decrees of God. 1933. On one occasion I heard these words in my soul: "Make a novena for your country." This novena will consist of the recitation of the Litany of Saints. Ask your confessor for permission, probably Father Sapotsko or Father Andres. I received permission at my next confession and began the novena that very evening. Towards the end of the litany, I saw a great radiance, and in the midst of it, God the Father. Between this radiance and the earth, I saw Jesus, nailed to the cross in such a way that when God wanted to look at the earth, he had to look through the wounds of Jesus. And I understood that it was for the sake of Jesus that God blesses the earth. O Jesus, I thank you for this great grace, namely that you yourself have deigned to choose a confessor for me, and that you have made him known to me in a vision even before I met him. When I went to confession to Father Andres, I thought that I would be released from following these interior inspirations. Father replied that he could not dispense me from this, but pray, sister, that you may be given a spiritual director. After a short but fervent prayer, I saw Father Sapotsko for a second time in our chapel between the confessional and the altar. I was in Krakow at that time. These two visions bolstered up my spirit all the more when I found him to be just as I had seen him in the visions, once at Warsaw during my third probation, and a second time at Krakow. Oh, Jesus, I thank you for this great gift. And now when I hear people sometimes say that they have no confessor, that is to say, a director, fear takes hold of me because I know very well how much harm I myself experienced when I did not have this help. It is so easy to go astray when one has no guide. Okay, so there's a lot there that we could talk about, but sadly, because I have to keep this short, I can't talk about it all. So I want to focus on the very first part. And we read this and we're like, okay, so this sister who has died is coming to her and she is seeing her. And her face is distorted. She looks absolutely terrible. She starts praying for her. She comes back a second time. She looks even worse. She's like, are my prayers not helping you? And she's like, no, nothing can help me. She doesn't know. Sister Faustina doesn't know if this woman is in purgatory or in hell, but she keeps on praying. She stays, she perseveres in her prayers for her, and eventually they help. Now, let's talk about this, because when we read this, we're like, okay, somebody's dead person's visiting her. What exactly is going on? So, ghosts. The word ghost is actually a German word for spirit. So, naturally, as Catholics, yes, of course, we believe in spirits because we believe in angels, and angels are pure spirit. God is spirit, the Holy Spirit. When we die, our souls will be in heaven. It will be our spirit is there. So, yes, of course, as Catholics, we believe in spirits. Now, the way, especially in America, that we use the word ghost, it's like, ooh, spooky haunted house type of ghost. Mostly demonic is kind of what we tend to think of, out to hurt us or something like that. But I was listening to a show from Jimmy Akin. Jimmy Akin he's a senior Catholic apologist at CatholicAnswers.com. He's just a cool guy. He knows so much. I mean, I feel like I know nothing compared to him. But he does a podcast called Jimmy's Mysterious World, and he talks about all kinds of things, and then he always relates it back to our Catholic faith. And he did one on ghosts, and whether or not ghosts really visit people, or is that something that we can believe in? What's going on here? It's really good. I will add that podcast into the show notes. I will also add a short podcast he did with apologist Trent Horn, where it's a little shorter, so if you don't have a lot of time, but he covers this as well. But what Jimmy says is that it is possible that God could grant a soul in purgatory to visit us in order to ask for help. And he even said so far as that may be why ghosts come to us, especially, benign ghosts who don't seem to be hurting anybody or anything like that. They may be looking for our help. In movies, it's always like they need something to move on to the afterlife. And there could possibly be some truth to this, that these souls in heaven have been given a grace by God to come to us and ask for our prayers, or indulgences, or to have a mass said for them, or something like that. And so if this is true, then he says we should definitely pray for them and see if that's something we can do to help them out. Now, obviously, there can be, bad spirits as well, but, this may be what was Sister Faustina was experiencing here, was a soul from purgatory being granted the grace to kind of manifest herself so that Sister Faustina could see her and what she was going through, and then she could offer her prayers for her and continue to pray for her so that she could find her way out of purgatory. And, that's actually kind of like a comforting thought. I don't know if somebody was standing in front of me looking all distorted and painful. I don't know that I'd be like, oh, this is a comforting thing that's happening. But I think it's a comforting thought that we can help them in some way. That they need our help, and that for whatever reason, God has granted them this grace. Obviously, not all of us experience this. Sister Faustina, as a mystic, she has different things that go on in her life than the majority of us. But I just thought that was an interesting topic. So definitely, I would check out those two podcasts in my show notes. I'm not saying that this is 100% true. But if nothing else, we know as Catholics that we do believe in spirits as far as the spiritual world, and we're not necessarily talking about spooky Halloween ghosts. So something to think about. One last thing. She's talking about Father Sapotsko, and he's going to be her spiritual director. We're going to get more into this. I know I didn't touch on it, but definitely want to get more into that because spiritual directors are huge helps, and just going over that. And he's going to play a big role in her life as well, that we will find out. So I will see you back here tomorrow for day 22, Catholic Pilgrims. I am keeping you in my prayers. I hope you keep me in yours. Until next time, Catholic Pilgrims, live the faith boldly and travel well.